Hey guys, it's Spaces Sims, and we are back with more Mistonia Hope. Mistonia's Hope. Wow, see? Guys, whatever. You can't remember my name right now. Anyway, we just finished our shard exploration and then viewing the memories and stuff like that. The one thing I will say about this game that is really fucking weird, and it's an odd choice, is when I go to load, normally every time in a game you go to load and it brings up, okay, here's your list of saves, it's always got the most recent one highlighted. This one's like your most recent one, but the one before it. It's always the one before it. Why? 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 Why do you bring up the prior one and make me scroll down to take the most recent one? It's the oddest fucking coding choice. And it made me curious, is this going to be one of those games that I hate where when we get to the gallery and we're clicking that the A button acts like the back button, it goes to the beginning and I can't just nicely scroll through all the variations. So far, I don't think there's any variations to CGs. Actually, I thought there was one that we had a variation of. Am I crazy, or am I like now flashing back to a game that I played weeks ago? I don't know. But you know what I mean? Like, you know how much I hate that. Unless you're new here and this is your first game, then there you go. This is how much I hate that. I don't like it when we're in the gallery and we're clicking through and A usually goes and shows you different versions. But if you hit A and there's no new version, it acts like the back button. It goes back to the main menu of CGs. And I'm like, I don't want that. I want it to do nothing if there's not a variation. So then I know I can click the right button and then we go to, and it's just like a nice slideshow. I don't want to be constantly then we go back and then we have to click in and then we go back and then we have to click in. Like, that's disjointing and I don't like that. It's not a nice CG viewing experience flow. It's a really bad user experience. And I don't know why some games do it. It's about 50-50 with how much they annoy me with that. But I'm curious if this game's going to do it just because you have a very weird way of loading up a save. Take most recent save and show prior one. No, so like every time I'm like, why do I have to click down to get to my recent save? Why are you not highlighting the most recent one? It's so fucking bonkers. I don't know. Anyway. So, popping out of our room after our shard exploration. Ooh, space! I'd finished my work and was about to return to my room when Evelyn called me. Turning, I saw that Charlotte was with her. You're done with your work today, right? You should hang out with us for a while. Oh my god, are we having a slumber party? Are we going to braid each other's hair? Pillow fights? What do you mean by hang out? Ugh, come on! I'm asking you to have tea with us. That said, Charlotte, can you prepare some tea and sweets? Okay. The pair had already dragged me to the kitchen before I could even respond. Okay, no, so we're just like hanging out. Normally this was the time for nighttime tea, but they forced their way into my room with chocolates and tea with milk. Oh, no. Oh my god, it is slumber party time. Everybody's in their PJs. Look at it. It's so cute. Like, I'm sorry you're trying to tell me when Ascot's flirting with Evelyn he didn't mean that she's gorgeous, because look at her. Like, even her nightgown's pretty. And then Charlotte's just sweet. Look, Charlotte's sweet and adorable. You know what I mean? She's beautiful too, but like, she's adorable. I would hook her up with Linus. Ascot, don't touch Evelyn like that though, because you're mine, so like, whatever. But like, I can't blame him for fawning over her. She's lovely. Yikes, your room is so bleak. You could put some cute decorations in here, you know. Evelyn, you're going too far. Personally, I think a simple room has its own charms. Did you just want to see my room? I don't particularly mind if they want to look around my room, but I had no idea this was their plan. Being unfamiliar with the customs of girls my age, I failed to realize the purpose of this get-together. It didn't seem like they suspected anything based on their behavior, but I couldn't relax until I knew their intentions. I also kind of like when we are robots and we do not know how girls our age function. I feel like that's I don't want to say super common trope, but it's fairly common. It's happened enough where it's like, I'm a shut-in, or I live somehow differently, and I don't know how normal girls act. Like, we have that quite a bit, but it is still always kind of funny. Like, and in this case, I think it works with the theme, and like, she is like kind of a fucking robot, so I'm here for it. Evelyn blinked at my question before bursting into laughter. That's not it. I wanted to ask about what happened today. You received a gift from Lord Edward, didn't you? We were curious about what he gave you. Oh, I get it now. Now that I understood their motives, I took the embroidery thread from my desk drawer. I got this. I love doing embroidery. Oh, I see. Hey, have you made anything before? I want to see it. I made this handkerchief 6 months ago. It took me 2 or 3 days. Both of their eyes widened when I showed them the handkerchief. 2 or 3 days? That's fast, girl, and it looks really good. It's like the ones they sell at the store. I remember John saying something similar. It never hit me before because I had no one I could compare it to, but judging from their reactions, it appeared I was pretty skilled at embroidery. See, and now she's like, oh, I like how she's like, oh, it seems I'm skilled at this. I mean, I always figured it was nice, but they're telling me it's amazing. And yet, when it comes to cooking, she's like, my cooking is good. Girl is so motherfucking off in everything. She's like, do I really clean fast? Am I really that exceptional at embroidery? I mean, I thought my sewing skills were fine, but you're telling me they're exceptional? You're like, oh, weird. And you're saying my cooking is bad, but I know it's amazing. Like, she seriously overestimates her cooking, but seriously underestimates everything else, which I love. I think that's very funny. You're really good with your hands. Aside from cooking, that is. Yes, your cooking aside, but it doesn't matter if you're this good at embroidery. People kept bringing up my cooking skills for some reason. Honestly, though, I didn't really care. By the way, did anyone say anything to you when you were out with Lord Edward? Say what? A lot of people called out to Lord Edward as we passed them in the city. I tilted my head to one side, unable to keep up with the sudden change of topic. Evelyn waved her hands in front of her. No, that's not what I mean. Like, did you hear ladies going, must be nice, or so jelly, anything like that? So they threw out their... We're using colloquial, like, jelly? That's slang. We're using that? We're just throwing around slang here? Okay. I thought back to our outing, but I didn't hear anything like that. They both stared at me in amazement. Maybe you just didn't notice it. That's what I think, too. You seem pretty clueless about this sort of thing. Hearing this, I realized that our conversation had turned to Edward's popularity, mainly with women. I mean, have you seen him? He is kind of hot. I'm just a servant, though. Surely anyone can see that. I like how they just jumped in our face. That doesn't matter. Just working here is enough to make anyone jealous. Walking beside him makes you the target of envy. Lord Edward has some fiancé candidates, but he hasn't made progress with anyone yet. So, everyone's even more on edge than usual. That seems pretty normal for nobles. According to them, women didn't want a princely young man like Edward to belong to anyone, regardless of whether or not they were actually his partner. I can see you're not interested in Lord Edward, but what about the other 4? The mansion's filled with attractive men these days. Which one's your type? I love that we are having a girls' night like this. We're all just sitting around with like chocolate and tea and gossiping about hot boys. I love it. You know, to be fair, we have some games where we have good girlfriends, you know, where we have moments like this, but I don't think we get enough of these, you know, where we have like our lady friends. You know what I mean? My type? I've never given it any thought. I had no choice but to answer this way. I only saw those men as possible targets of my revenge. And it's one of those, see, this would be good to be like, okay, which one do I want to take revenge on the most? that's the one I should answer because, yes, I'll kill him for. But if right now she doesn't know, like, all right, who is the most likely suspect that I want to kill first? She really wants to kill them all, so. It's typical coming from you. You really are a strange one. Don't tell me you haven't even fallen in love for the first time yet. You're right, actually. I never had the chance to think about that sort of thing. Now I realize this kind of topic would naturally come up when good-looking men were around. Also, it's funnier, like, we knew that. Like, Evelyn's like, don't tell me. And we're like, we knew. Because Goneril, her ears are burning. She's like, I wish I were there right now. I know they're talking about Spacey and the fact that she doesn't think about men that way. And, like, poor John Boy. Because that's the way she was. She's like, oh, sorry, John Boy, I know you're in love with her. And we're like, what are you fucking talking about? Anyway, whatever. I mean, we're the typical clueless. That's how we have to be when it comes to the trope of, childhood friend guy. You know what I mean? We're always have to be clueless that he's in love with us. It has to go completely over our fucking heads. Even when he's standing there with his heart in a bog, like, I will give you my heart, I love you to death, and everything's like, what I mean? It doesn't matter. We're like, what was that? Thought I heard a noise. Like, totally clueless, can't see anything, So, even though it's obvious to everyone else, we are clueless. So, her being clueless about that is, well, that's part of the trope, but also funny because she's also a robot and she's literally clueless about men in general, aside from, I want to stab them. And I mean, again, I love it because it's different. If she's going to be, like, completely clueless, it's more fun for it to be this way. It's like, I'm clueless because I haven't even thought about that. I want revenge. I want to stab them. As opposed to, like, oh my God, I'm just so, where they sometimes make main characters really derpy. And sometimes it's cute. You're like, it's kind of cute. She's a little derpy. Like, I get it. And other times you're like, we're crossing a line now. Why does she literally have to be dumber than a box of rocks? Like, it's not, like, they make them too naive where it's like, okay, there's a little bit about being naive and innocent or a little clueless or whatever. Because again, I'm totally clueless. I would be that person who someone is right there with a giant sign that says, I love you. And I'd be like, oh, are you going to show that to someone? That's really sweet. Who are you in love with? Because I'm fucking clueless like that, okay? So I can't fault any main character for this. But they make them too naive sometimes where you're like, it's not. Now she's bordering on being, like, stupid. Like, just, it's not cute. I know they're doing it to be like, look, she's so cute and naive and innocent. And it's like, there's a point where that's just uncomfortable, And, like, I feel like most of them, there's exceptions when they're like that, and you're like, okay, yeah, I mean, it works for their character, and other times it absolutely doesn't. And you're like, why are we making her stupid? But, like, us being completely clueless and, like, it makes perfect sense because she is, like, one-track mind, stab. No sex, stab. And, like, I love that for us. It's fun. So, again, they're doing the same typical trope of she's completely clueless about men and doesn't realize, whatever. And she's going to be all, like, a absolute blushing mess when she starts feeling shit. But it works for the character, and it makes sense in this case. You know what I mean? We'll just make sure that they keep handling it well. But so far, I'm vibing with it. So, this time around. So, I mean, not to say we don't ever vibe with it, but I'm just saying this is especially one of the best cases. This is top tier case where you're like, I'll accept it. Okay. But at the same time, it sounded so foreign. Should I give them some kind of response since they brought up the subject? Which is your type? You're asking us? Well, you see, Lord Edward is a fine young man. For a moment, the pair were at a loss for words. Then the dam broke and my room filled with their chit-chat. Lord Linus is just as fine. I heard he's still not over his first love, though, so he's kind of passive when it comes to romance. I love his unwavering affection. He's a late bloomer. Everyone finds it cute. Charlotte and Linus would be adorable together. Probably too much adorable. We'd die of diabetes, but So he's not over his first love and is a late bloomer, huh? Lord Ascot's too shallow for me, but I understand why ladies throw themselves at him after seeing his sex appeal firsthand. I mean, right? Could you imagine how much better his sex appeal would be if you could hear his actual motherfucking voice? Because I'm just imagining it in my head and I'm going to turn into a blushing, gushing mess. Okay. I'm just thinking about it and you should see the fucking stupid derpy ass smile on my face. I'm like, I'm going to die when we listen to the voice acting and I go back. I'm going to die. We will not be finished playing this game when Christmas arrives, obviously, because we just started it and it's December for you. It's still November for me. But the first part was like the last day of November. So like, you know what I mean? Most of this is December. All right. I might take this game with me with my Switch and like go back and play the stuff that I've already done just to hear his fucking voice. Not play anything new, obviously. I want to experience it with you. But I might go back and be like, all right, where's my guide? And let me make the same choice and let me just listen to him talk. Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, seriously. Because I don't know if I could stand not hearing his voice in my fucking ear. And I'll have earbuds in. I will jam those things so fucking far into oh God. I kind of get the sex appeal part and his voice. God. Not the one I give him, obviously. I get nervous when he approaches me, but I can see why people are fascinated by him. Lord Alfred seems sincere, don't you think? He looks a little scary, though. No, I like him like that, though. If you put glasses on that man, I'd have mounted him already. But, like, even without the glasses, it comes close very often. All right? The only thing that doesn't make him number one is Ascot's got Jun Fukuyama's voice. That's it. That is literally the only thing keeping me off of Alfred, okay? Because he is my type. We know my type. I like them moody and bitchy. I like them grumpy and I love that because you know he's the biggest fucking marshmallow on the inside. And God, I like them. God, I like them. That was an understatement. I love the marshmallows so much all the time. I don't think we've met one of those bastards I haven't fallen in love with yet. Flirty whores a lot of the time, but there are times where you're like, yeah, you're the flirty whore, maybe not. And they do worm their way into my heart a lot often, more often than usual, than not anymore. But you know, childhood friends are like a toss-up. You're like, sometimes they're great, and sometimes they just fall flat for me. And sometimes like, I don't mind it, but I don't hate them, but I also don't love them half the time. So, but John's pretty hot, so like, we'll see. We'll see how that works out, you know? Especially if he actually is the clone of the Fae King, because then that's gonna be pretty fucking interesting, you know? And then that's also like almost a weird like destined lovers thing because I am the product of the clone of the queen getting it on with a human passing it down. So I'm technically in a way a direct descendant of the queen's clone and you're the king's clone. Do you see? I don't know. I think I got some fate thing going on there. I could buy it. I could be into it. I don't know. We'll see. But he looks a little scary, though. Yeah, those are the best kind. They look scary, but they love hard, God damn it. I love my little ice princesses. But he's very kind. He lends me a hand from time to time. The more I listen to them chat, half impressed and half nodding along, the more I began to think about the man closest to me. That man was John. Nonetheless, I didn't have an impression of him that was similar to how those girls appraised men. Maybe it's because he's too close to me. See, and now she's doing it again. She's like, and then I'm thinking about John and like, yeah, he's a guy and that's all I got. Goneril said he was friendly and popular at the places she sent him on errands. I suppose his charms had been noticed by others and not me. I was frustrated since I knew so little, but it wasn't like I could do anything about it. It was something I didn't know, after all. How about Lord Lucas? He hadn't been mentioned at all, so I brought him up myself. Evelyn and Charlotte went quiet. I'm like, what, you don't like the moody, broody, grumpy type? I kind of... Again, those ones are a hit or miss sometimes. Sometimes they're not, but like, you know, I feel like sometimes the grumpy, bitchy ones are good too. And where's the actual... We don't have any... Well, they might all be trash. We don't know. We like trash too. I guess in this case, Ascot's the closest thing we have to trash. But, you know, he's just the flirty whore. So, you know, it's not exactly the super trash we're used to. He's not the dumpster fire we're used to. So we really don't have one of those. Lord Lucas, huh? He treats everyone equally. He doesn't act arrogant, even with the servants. No, that's not quite right. If anything, he hates everyone equally, and he doesn't act arrogant towards servants because he's not interested in them. Come on, Evelyn! I see. So we all share the same opinion about him. Oh, I feel like he's a little misunderstood. Well, aside from the he hates everyone equally, yes. But he's not rude to the servants because he doesn't acknowledge they exist. I don't think it's necessarily that. It's he doesn't want to talk to anyone. He's forced to talk to the other nobles. I'm sure he wouldn't talk to them either if he didn't have to. You know what I mean? So it's not that I'm not talking to you because you're lowly servants. It's just I'm forced to talk to these fuckers. I don't have to talk to you. If I didn't have to talk to them, I wouldn't either. Like, he was easy to understand because he treated people equally, regardless of gender or status, which I was grateful for. In other words, he's not two-faced. That's it! Evelyn and Charlotte strongly agreed with my conclusion. The Five Houses conference resumed the next morning. As a server, I stood quietly in the corner of the room, listening in. I love how it was like they were just talking about the guys that were like, which one piques your fancy? And we're like, what? And they were like, tee-hee-hee, typical you answer. And then they were going like, they were just like, let's just talk about them and then throw out what we think of them and not be like, oh my God, he's super handsome. Or like, oh my God, I'm totally in love with him. Because, you know, you want to be friends with these girls, but you also don't want them to be like, oh my God, I'm in love with so-and-so. I'm totally in love with this one. And then you marry that person and you're like, peace out, bitch. Like, you know? So, I mean, I like that they're just like, oh, let's just talk about them objectively and not, you know, oh my God, I'm totally in love with this one. Because, again, that would just be weird. And again, we're Linus's first love. We know that. Come on. I stood quietly in the corner of the room listening in. Did I read that? I remember reading the server part, but... Their Majesty will attend the exhibition, obviously. I've also received a list of VIPs from Fremdalen who we need to invite. Oh, there are more than I expected. It's kind of troublesome that some aren't from allied nations. Fremdelandian? People aren't the only troublesome things here. I know. There have been disturbances as of late. We'll need an elaborate security plan. We also need to be careful when checking the identity of the participants. Oh, right. I remember. Her Majesty hasn't been feeling well lately, so we need to make arrangements to minimize her burden. The Queen isn't feeling well, huh? I knew it. She's aging more rapidly. I'd actually considered it during the banquet, but considering she was still looking for me 8 years later showed her desperation. Just when I was wondering whether I could learn more details, Alfred gave me a stern look. I'd like to keep this discussion between us. Do you mind? Basically, he told me, an outsider, to leave. Edward seemed to have noticed too and called out to me. There's no need to attend to us anymore. I'll call you if we need anything. You can get back to your other work for now. Understood. I couldn't disobey my lord's orders, obviously, so I quietly left the room. It's kind of funny that Alfred's like, do you mind? Get out. Because most rich bastards don't pay attention to the servants in the room because they're just lowly peon servants. So that's why the servants overhear everything and know all the shit that's going on. They're like, they were doing what? And they're like, yeah, I was right there in the motherfucking room. They just act like I'm a fucking statue, and I'm like, not even there. I'm not even a human. They had no idea. I was standing right there serving them tea, and I was just a piece of furniture to them, and they were talking about all their fucking lusty little affairs. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, I mean, that's what you get for not treating people like people. I mean, to be fair, if you're out in public and you're having a conversation, anybody could walk by and hear you. Sure, you're not like, oh, but you're not like spilling government secrets in the middle of Starbucks. You know what I mean? So it's kind of nice seeing they're all just spilling out shit. They have not paying attention, and Alfred's like, there's another human being here. Maybe you should make her leave before we spill some secrets. Like, good on him. You know? I was tasked with shopping, which aligned with my break. As I steadily got what we needed, I went over everything I'd heard earlier. Alfred appears disinclined to reveal information about the Queen in exhibition to anyone, even a Bernstein's servant. That's only natural, though. On the other hand, Ascot barely has any caution. I'm curious why he brought up the Queen's health like that. You think he knows? I couldn't quite get a read on what was on Linus or Lucas's minds, but Edward seemed concerned about me. He seemed concerned that I'd find myself in danger for knowing too much. I suppose they all have varying opinions. Besides, each one has a different stance on the incident that occurred 8 years ago. As I walked through the city, pondering the events at the banquet, I arrived at the area Edward, Linus, and I had passed yesterday. Now that I think about it, I saw someone who looked a lot like Alfred around here. Alfred? I'd completely forgotten about it since a lot had happened. Thinking back, he'd seemed strange at the time. Now that I'd finished shopping, it was time for my break. That being said, let's ask John what he thinks. Making up my mind, I'd headed to Goneril's store. Are you here, John? I called out to him as soon as I entered. Luckily enough, he was tending the store alone. Is something wrong, m'lady? I shook my head. John seemed worried about my sudden visit. I'm not in trouble or anything, no. I just wanted to organize my information. It said that everyone in Upbeak, including House Randolph, died in that fire. But as you can see, there are widespread rumors about survivors. Actually, let me take that back. There have been some problems. I should have told you sooner. Contrary to my expectations, John didn't look the least bit surprised. I'd actually expected rumors to start flying. The 5 houses had thoroughly examined all the bodies at the time. They should have noticed yours was missing. No matter how secretive the 5 houses can be, information always leaks. You have a point. I wasn't in the right headspace. Their target wasn't the dead villagers. It was me. Seeing how I unconsciously bit my lip, John elaborated hurriedly. Sorry, I didn't mean to make you think about that event, and I shouldn't have called them bodies. I'm sorry. Don't worry about it. If anything, I'm the one to blame here. I know I shouldn't be overly sentimental right now. I forced a smile. John cast his eyes down in remorse. I wasn't lying about not wanting to get sentimental, but I also didn't want him to feel responsible. Look at his little sad face. Aww. What I'm saying is, I wasn't being careful enough, and I'll work harder at controlling my face-side hand. Are you not able to control it? I don't know if it's because Oberon's strengthened my power or not, but whenever I get emotional, it activates on its own. Face-side hand. The single reason the Queen wanted me to be her vessel so badly. If my target didn't possess any fey magic, my face-side hand wouldn't manifest. But the mansion's filled with magic. While that makes investigating easier, I must be careful. It can easily get out of control. You gotta train more if you still can't use it properly. That's what I want to say, at least. And I don't want to force you into that either. You're aware that using your power will take a toll on your body, aren't you? You should be able to investigate just fine, even without it. You're right. Remember what the Fey King said. Whenever you use your power, your nature becomes closer to that of a pure Fey. I don't want you taking that risk. Meaning I'd become a singularly minded, inhumane being. I know. I'll make sure I don't use it too much. I'd rather you not use it at all, if possible. I stared at my hand. Hidden deep within my face-side hand was a secret ability, the power to craft illusions. It was top secret, something only known to House Randolph. However, the Queen probably knew about it too, since Oberon had. Interesting. Crafting illusions. I feel like that's new. I don't remember them telling us before. I tried to use it once, but it put a larger physical burden on my body than usual. It only increased the likelihood of me becoming a pure fae. I understood why John told me not to use my power often, and I intended to do just that. We're getting off track. Anyway, remembering the reason I came here in the first place, I shared my observations that the 5 houses didn't seem united.
I see. From what I've heard, people perceive the amount of danger both inside and outside the country differently. But I imagine things are bad by now.
What do you mean? Oh, someone popped in. Well, 4 incidents are currently causing major disturbances. Probably Goneril. Huh? I didn't know you were here, Goneril. I was taken aback when I heard another voice behind me, as I'd assumed we were alone. When I turned, I found Goneril smiling apologetically. I'm sorry. I didn't think you'd be so surprised. As an apology, how about I tell you more about these 4 incidents? I wasn't sure if it was her 100%, so. Yes, please. Thank you. I'm like, could you imagine if we're sitting here talking to John and Alfred or somebody else walks in? That'd be fucked. But. Relieved, I encouraged her to proceed. Goneril sat in a nearby chair. Then she raised her index finger with a pretentious gesture. Let's start with the wing hunter. These days, well, it's been happening for 7 years, actually, but there have been a lot of incidents where Mingles are targeted. Wing hunter, an unidentified criminal who's after the wings of Mingles. It's unknown how they snatch away these Mingles' wings on a foggy night. You can't say snatch away Mingles' wings because it sounds like a fucking tongue twister. On foggy nights in Rowan, someone hunts for the wings of Mingles. Wings? Is that even possible? They aren't visible, so you can't even grab them, let alone hunt for them. Well, I don't know how the culprit's doing it, but the outcome remains the same. Nonetheless, the upper class doesn't care much since the victims are Mingles. Second, the Twilight Ravens have appeared. Twilight Ravens? Okay, hold on. But Mingles are like powerless fae, but they still have wings? Because Mingles are basically powerless fae. You're basically like, oh, you're born a fae, but you have no magic, so you're a Mingle. You know what I mean? But then you still have wings? Because I thought it was the more powerful a pure fae was, the more wings they have, essentially, or whatever, right? So, then, like, I guess I don't quite still understand the hierarchy of, and, like, demi-fae are, like, we're not full-on, like, we would be considered a demi-fae, I'm assuming. Because we have magic. But we're only part because we can trace it back and say, okay, the Queen's clone, Aislinn or whatever her name was, would have been a pure fae, but she married a human, so then their kids are like half and whatever. And most of the 5 houses are tied to, so they would be, I thought, you know what I mean? And then a Mingle's basically like, okay, you should be either I thought the Queen's the only pure fae. And now Oberon, but nobody knows he's around. But, like, everybody else is demi-fae, but Mingles would be like, oh, you should, like, I should have magic, but I have none. I'm not a human. I should have fae magic, but I got nothing. So then you're, like, gutter trash. But, like, how do you still have wings? The way they explained it was Mingles have very, very little useless magic, and then it was saying later that they have none, so I'm not really sure where it borders. But I'm guessing then it would go more with, I thought what they originally said was they're just very little. Like, I have magic in me, but I just can't use it, or it's useless, or it doesn't do anything, and it's like, you might as well not have any. Because they had attributed the wings to the amount of magic you have. Like, oh, you got more magic, you got more wings. So, like that little kid we saw talking to Alfred could be a Mingle because he only had one little wing. You know what I mean? So, hmm. You wonder if I feel like the wing thing could possibly be the doing of the queen. Okay, it's either someone who was like, Mingles don't deserve wings because they don't have enough magic, so why do they even have a wing? So we're going to rip them off because screw you guys, you know? Or it's someone doing it for the queen because she thinks if she takes wings from worthless Mingles and then she adds them to her, then like, I got 10 wings off of 10 different Mingles. Now I have 10 extra wings and that would like enhance her power somehow. You know, because she's cuckoo bananas, we know. So, anyway. But then now the Twilight Ravens, okay. Isn't that the name of an organization? Exactly. I admit it's a popular story. About 6 months ago, warning letters were posted around Rowan, notifying people of the organization's intent to raid the exhibition. Okay, we saw that earlier. I was like, why does Twilight Raven sound familiar? We saw that in one of the flashbacks, right? The name written on the letters was Twilight Ravens. Twilight Ravens, an organization of anti-royalists. The members are dissatisfied with the Queen and the country that abandons the weak. House Ward's currently investigating the matter under the order of the Queen, and House Bernstein is tightening security. Next up is the Blue Robin. Is that an organization that also plans raids? The name makes me think of the Ravens. It's quite a bit different. They're not all that bad, if I say so myself. Are you one of them? Apparently, retirement homes and almshouses around the country have been receiving gifts twice a year from an unknown sender. The gifts always come with a blue ribbon and a relief of a robin, hence the name Blue Robin.
I never thought of Blue Robin as a problem. They're a charity project, after all.
Blue Robin, a mysterious entity who sends presents several times a year to retirement homes and almshouses. These packages always come with a blue ribbon and a relief carving of a robin, leading to this moniker. It's one of our boyfriends is doing that. I was going to say Oberon, because he's the Fae King and he turns into like a little robin, doesn't he? But, and she thought of him too when she heard Blue Robin, but I wouldn't doubt. But blue is Edward's color, so he's the first one I would think of. He's also way more sensitive and kind than his father, so I feel like, I wouldn't be surprised if he was doing that. One of our boyfriends is absolutely the one sending these things around. That's valid. As for me, I feel like there's something fishy about the unknown sender part. I may actually be overthinking it. Just forget about it. For a moment, Goneril's expression changed. I decided to ignore it for the time being, though, since she told me to forget about it. After regaining herself, Goneril continued. The last incident's another scary one. The missing changeling cases. Changeling describes the resulting demi-fae when immature mind of a humane child switches with the mind of a pure fae. The resulting demi-fae when the immature mind of a child switches with the mind of a pure fae. Each with a new body, the humane child will live on in Tir na Nog as a pure fae, while the pure fae lives on the surface world as a demi-fae. Okay, so a human child and a pure fae swap minds. So now, okay, because the human child's brain is in the pure fae's body, so they are now living. Okay, that's why. Okay. Yeah, I get it. All right. I don't know why my brain could not process that today. Do you know what a changeling is? Hold on. If I remember correctly,
That's a phenomenon in which the mind of a humane child switches with the mind of a fae.
Before I could trace the vague memory I recalled, John answered for me. That's right. Apparently changelings have gone missing without anyone noticing. This mainly occurs in rural areas, so barely anyone in Rowan has heard about it. Some of the 5 houses are concerned, though. Again, Queen could be kidnapping the changelings for some reason. Anyway, I think you've noticed by now that most don't pose a threat to the exhibition, aside from the Twilight Ravens, because the Queen could be kidnapping because, okay, so the child, the human, is living in Tir Nanog, right? Because they're in the body of a pure fae, so they're down there. So now the fae is what was originally a pure fae is now in a humane body, so they've become a demi-fae. They don't have quite the power that a pure fae would have, but they're also not human anymore. Which is weird, because then you would think that the human brain in the pure fae body would also break that. You know what I mean? Because, like, if you can take magic brain, put it into boring ass human body and make a demi-fae, then if you put boring ass brain in a super magic body, why would that also not make it a demi-fae too? Like, but whatever the logic is in this game. So the queen could be capturing them because they have pure fae minds and they're, I don't know, like she's gonna suck their brains. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, I'm pinning it all on the queen, okay? Because she sounds crazy. She was trying to get a toddler to fucking like agree to stay with her forever so she could dump her soul into my body. The fuck bitch, you know? And that being said, troublemakers lurking in our land tend to come out in full force during festive occasions. That explains why John said things are pretty bad.
Exactly. But if the country descends into chaos, it could be the perfect chance for us to bring down the queen.
I'll keep that in mind. I engraved John's words into my mind, as well as the intel Goneril gave me. I went to clean the library after returning to the mansion and bumped into someone unexpected. Look who's here, working as diligently as ever, huh? Nick thinks highly of you, you know. He said you're a really hard worker. I'm curious, though. Don't you want to take a break sometimes? You don't want to always work, do you? I don't deserve such a great honor, my lady. I just took my break a little while ago, and I don't believe I'm overworking myself. Seeing her made me recall the disgust I felt at the banquet, but I put that aside and replied meekly. Then Lily burst into laughter. Goodness, you're supposed to agree with me at a time like this. In any case, I called out to you because I wanted to hang out. Hang out? Yes. Ed hasn't been paying attention to me lately. I'm bored. And with how dangerous the city is getting ahead of the exhibition, I've been told not to go out. I'm tired of being in the mansion all alone. Say, would you keep me company? It seemed at first like not sure how I feel about Lily. You know what I mean? She's starting to feel sus as fuck. But like in the very beginning, it's like, oh, okay, she seems like nice. She's like gonna be his older son. Sure, she seems sweet. And then like the way she was talking at the banquet is like, what the fuck? But at the same time, doesn't make her a bad person necessarily. You know, it's just you're an insensitive person. Because you're talking about this murder and the deaths of all these people, like, it's no big deal. But to be fair, that's like, sometimes the reality of horrible things doesn't really hit you, and you're looking at it like, it's as if I'm watching something in a movie where it's not real, because you can't always be, like, emotional. I mean, that's... Every single bad thing in the world that happens cannot weigh on you. Okay? Because you will literally break. So there are going to be things that you are going to talk about that people are going to make. It's totally insensitive that you are not was so upset or distraught over this happening. And you're like, it's because one, your brain can't process how horrible the reality is, or there's only so many horrible things you can, like, absorb without shutting down completely, you know? So it doesn't make her necessarily a bad person for not being like, oh my god, it was horrible. But I feel like the game wants us to feel that way about her, like, what the fuck? Like, she's so insensitive. And again, it could just be like a normal response where you're not thinking about, oh yeah, you know, I was being insensitive, and I wasn't really thinking about the fact that, you know, for me, it's so out there and as if it never really happened, and it's just a story, like, and then there's other people who are like, it's the reality. Like, to her, it's a story. For us, it's reality. So it's a very different viewpoint on it. So obviously, us as the character, we're supposed to be like, what the fuck, insensitive bitch? But is it just one of those things where, oh, she's just relaying a story and not thinking about the actual humans involved? Is she kind of just like she's had enough grief that she can't process that emotional, like, baggage that comes with what really happened there? Fair enough, her husband died. Or is she just one of those rich assholes who is really not fazed by anything and literally has no human emotions? We don't know. We don't know where she is in the range of it. Like, so it's kind of up in the air. Like, she seems nice, but then you're like, but then she's kind of insensitive. And it's like, are you just one of those insensitive rich twats? Are you just, you're not thinking about it because to you, it's a fascinating story, not a reality? Or, like, you don't really know. So, like, you're also in that boat, which I like about her character, because you're like, oh, I don't know if I like you or I hate you. Like, I don't hate her, but I don't know if I'm supposed to hate her. Are we gonna grow to hate her later? Is like, right now it's just like, that was an insensitive thing. So, like, so we don't love her. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, I kind of like that you're in this little gray area with her. Like, what's up with you? Maybe there's more to you than just the nice, sweet sister, Anyway, Lily tilted her head and stared at me, her expression innocent. I could tell she didn't have any ill intentions, but... My apologies, my lady. I can't decide of my own volition, and besides, I don't have any entertaining topics to bring up. I attempted to come up with a reason to decline her request, but she persisted. I'll ensure Nick allows it. Anyway, for the topic... Oh, I know! Do you like books? I haven't done any reading as of late, but I used to read as a kid. During your childhood, I see. In that case, are you familiar with the picture book called Mary Became a Star? Mary Became a Star, a fairy tale beloved all across Grand Albion. It's a tragedy about a heroine, Mary, who falls in love with a prince, but the two are never able to be one. Interesting. Yes, I know that book very well. The picture book Lily picked up was one I'd read over and over again as a child. Seeing that I had inadvertently agreed, Lily smiled. Me too! Now we have something in common! It was hard to refuse her at this point, so I followed her to the drawing room. Tell me, what's your favorite part of the book? Lily sat elegantly on the couch in the drawing room where the afternoon tea was being prepped. Then she asked me questions while flipping through the picture book. I'm not sure you could call it my favorite part, but I always wanted to know the answer. The answer? Yes, when I was a child I had no idea why Mary died. Mary Became a Star was a tragic love story. It followed a young girl named Mary who met a prince hiding his identity. Then she developed feelings for him. When Mary found out his true identity, she learned he was to be engaged to a princess from a neighboring country. An evil witch then appeared and handed her a deadly poison, telling her to kill the prince. The witch tried persuading Mary to kill the prince if she couldn't have him, to which Mary initially agreed. Even so, she changed her mind at the last moment and drank the poison herself. That was how she became a shining star in the night sky. The end. Ow! You want me to pet you, but you're being a dick, bird! I was saddened by the fact that she died in the end. I wanted to know why she made that choice, so I reread the book multiple times. Kill the princess so he doesn't have to marry the princess. Kill the bitch and get your husband. Kill the bitch and get the boy. I mean, whatever. No, I'm kidding. But it's an option. In the end, my younger self never learned the answer. Lily nodded cheerfully several times at my response. I'm curious as to what she's going to say to this. I actually thought something similar. There must have been another way. Yeah, just fall in love with someone else, except that you're not going to have the prince. I need to turn on a light and get the bird a potty break. And hopefully my headset stays plugged in, because it's twisted up right now. There you go. Good boy. Thank you. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I know. I'm sorry. I wasn't looking at you. And he's like, oh, he just poked me in the neck. Sorry. Sorry, booger face. I wasn't looking at you. I was just trying to shove my hand over to you to get you on me, and I didn't mean to poke you like that. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. You're okay, though. You'll be fine. All right. Now simmer down, okay? We only have a few minutes. I guess we really do have something in common. We read the same picture book and had the same impression. Do you think so? Honestly, I didn't think we did. Our circumstances were significantly different, which also influenced the world we observed. Despite that, this had helped me realize something. At the banquet, I was convinced she was a terrible person. But maybe it's not a malice I'm sensing, but naivety. She's been protected all her life, after all. Again, so it goes back to she's being insensitive not on purpose because she's a cold-hearted rich bitch. She could be, we don't know. But it's just you're not thinking of that scenario and the real people involved. Like, again, think of every horrible thing there is a point where, like, so many horrible things happen, you have to detach yourself. You can't be, oh my God, you can't empathize with everyone everywhere all at once. You will explode. There's got to be a point where you were like, I feel really bad that this happened, but it doesn't make you really sad or somber or anything. Because again, you've just hit your limit of things that hurt you and make you cry for the day. You know what I mean? So like, or like there's things that just don't seem real that you look back and you're reading about or you learn about and you're just like, huh, what the fuck? You know, and I feel like maybe that's just kind of where she is. Like, yes, she was talking about it a little gleefully, but okay, to her it's more like, oh, it's an interesting story, a juicy gossip thing, because there's a mystery, right? And not, yeah, but the mystery is all those people are dead. You know what I mean? That's part of it. And you're like, oh, you know, and she's not confronting the reality of it, which, I mean, fair enough. You can't, not everything like that. We all have moments like this. You know what I mean? She's not a terrible person for this being that moment for her. But again, is that what they're trying to show? Like, okay, so this was a moment where she just was being insensitive, where, okay, fine. Or is she always like this? We don't know. You know what I mean? Like, right now, the main character's telling us, like, okay, she's just being a little insensitive in that moment, and she's not a horrible person for it. We don't know, though. There were people whose innocence morphed into ignorance, leaving them blind to the struggles of the oppressed, which, I mean, again, yes, because she's a rich bitch, so sure. Just as I was getting lost in Lily's unique aura, the door creaked open, then thudded, pulling me back to reality. Ladies, would you like some more tea? Oh my, you have perfect timing, Phil. I wanted a little more. I knew it. I'm so thoughtful. I sensed something slightly strange in their conversation. Lily's eyes sparkled with amusement. Are you thinking he's being overly familiar with me? Phil's a good person, you see. He's like his second little brother, and Phil died right then and there. I get it now. It's because Philip is such a casual demeanor with her. Philip was close to Edward, too, yet he kept a formal tone around him, saving his casual side for when they were alone. It almost felt like this was his true self. Being called your little brother's a little ridiculous, but I guess we spend just as much time together as I do with Lord Ed. You know, Phil followed me all the way from my husband's house because he was worried about me. He's always been there for me, even during my toughest times. Yet he followed you from your dead husband's house because he's in love with you. That means Philip originally worked at her husband's house. There must be some kind of reason behind their closeness. I mean, I'm just saying, if we find out they're boning behind the scenes, I would not be surprised. I mean, that's what Philip wants. Despite Lily's nonchalance, the words hinted at a deeper sadness. Lily Bernstein is a widow who returned to her family after losing her husband. No one in the mansion spoke of it openly, but her husband had attempted murder-suicide. Don't, Jesus! I was literally thinking, like, I wonder what happened to her husband. You think he was involved in the thing 8 years ago? And I was like, probably not. It was probably more recent. But murder-suicide was not what I expected. I did not have that on my bingo card for this game. Holy shit. Lily had miraculously survived and stood before me now. Okay, wait, though. Am I the only one who was like, oh my God, murder-suicide, and then, well, wait a minute. Was it a murder-suicide, or did she straight up murder her husband? And then she's like, he tried to kill me. Was it? Was it murder-suicide? And they're like, her husband tried to kill her, and thankfully she survived, but he ended up dead in the whole murder-suicide thing. And you're like, or was it just murder? You know what I mean? Like, she straight up murdered him and pretended? Because that's what my brain went right there as soon as, like, seriously? Did you see how fast? Like, murder-suicide, and then she miraculously survived. Yeah, because she probably killed him. Wait a minute. I'm pretty sus. Okay, put that on the sus board. Like, I'm not sure about this. I once thought Philip had feelings for Lily, but given their circumstances, I understand why they're close. Nah, I still think he might have feelings for her. Their bond was probably a lot like mine and John's, tied together by the shared weight of losing our loved ones. And, okay, this is fucking hilarious. I thought Philip had a crush on her, but they probably have a bond like John and I, where like they're tied together by the weight of losing loved ones. And I'm like, yeah, but John's also in love with you, so that does not convince me that Philip is not in love with Lily. That just strengthens the, yeah, no, he's definitely in love with her then. And just reinforces how clueless we are. That we're like, John and I are just close because of dead relatives. And it's like, okay, sure. Yeah, okay. He's also in love with you, but sure. Realizing that I'd begun sympathizing with Lily, I was disgusted with my naivety. Ooh, chapter 3! Sorry, Bird. I have to make sure my guide's rolled up to chapter 3. Oops. On the surface, everything seemed peaceful since the Five Houses conference had resumed. I steadily built my trust as a maid and continued my investigation, but there came a day when I began to feel stuck. Just as I was thinking that, an unexpected change of events came my way. Ah, there you are! Listen, Space, Lady T has asked me to help with preparations for the ball. She wants me to help her with preparations for the debutante ball. Debutante, referring to a young woman from a respectable family that's making her debut in high society. In Grand Albion, though having an audience with the Queen, through having an audience with the Queen, a debutante will be recognized as a mature lady of age and will be permitted to join high society. Are we going to pretend to be a debutante? Lily approached me as I tidied the entrance hall, speaking as if I were a close friend. It seemed as if Lily had taken particular interest in me ever since we'd read that picture book together. From time to time, she would engage me in casual conversation. That wasn't the surprising part here, however. Tia, that's the Queen's name. Is Lily so close to that infuriating woman that she asked directly for her help? That's quite the challenging task. Her Majesty surely trusts you greatly if she asked you to do all that. I responded, probing further. I didn't fully understand the nature of their relationship. To my surprise, Lily's next words were anything but conventional. It's an honor to be trusted, of course, but I feel that simply fulfilling Lady Tia's request would be dreadfully dull. So I asked her if I could bring you to the ball, and she agreed. Why do I feel this very sus of this? Pardon me? Lily continued uncheerfully as I stood there, frozen in shock by the sudden turn of events. Let's prepare for the ball together. I need to have our dresses made. Please wait a moment, my lady. There's surely some mistake. Her Majesty must be having some sort of jest. A humane, especially a maid, taking part in an event where noble ladies presented themselves to the Queen and made their debut in high society was unheard of. I tried to think of possible solutions, but Lily shook her head. No, she isn't. Lady Tia loves anything intriguing. Intriguing? Intriguing. Might your participation is just a sideshow for her? Also, how are we intriguing? This is what I'm sus about. Like, the Queen's like, oh, a human made. What do you. Does she know? Does she know some stuff? Is there some reason why she thinks, like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, what's going on? Is it literally just because the Queen's a little batshit? Or is there, like, she knew and that's why she was okay with it and it's her chance to trap me or something? I don't know. You know what I mean? Or is this just like, okay, well, the queen's a little crazy, so we'll let her go to the ball. We'll let Cinderella go to the ball. And then we're going to go and be dressed all fancy and gorgeous. And that's where whichever boy we're choosing, whichever path we're going down here, they're going to kind of fall for us a little and be like, oh, wait, hi. She's kind of hot when she takes down the ponytail and takes her glasses off. Like some fucking, like, 90s fucking rom-com over here. You know, like, know what I mean? Like, huh. Anyway, regardless of the queen's true intentions, Lily seemed genuinely delighted at the prospect of dressing me up and taking me to this grand affair. I'm kind of intrigued because I want to see our gorgeous gown, and we're dancing with our boyfriends, and that's going to be kind of fun. Never would I have imagined that I'd be meeting the queen so quickly. I hesitated, thinking it might be too dangerous, but quickly changed my mind. I understand, my lady. I shall accompany you. I lowered my head as I replied. My fingers brushed the pocket watch in my pocket. Lily, on the other hand, smiled brightly. Ooh. Later that evening, we're going to be probably getting dresses or some shit. Who knows? We're going to go tell John, I'm going to a ball! And he's going to be like, the fuck? So, I hope he can figure out a way to get in there. And then he's going to see us dancing with one of our handsome, rich husbands. And I don't know if he's going to like it so much, but... And then the jealousy! I'm just writing the game in my head now. We're going to have to pace ourselves and see how it goes. But anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.